Hey Bats, this is Dr. Des M. Astor here, and I'm here to bring you my thoughts on various powerful, popular SCPs that people talk about all the time in the Foundation. Non-stop. They're all very dangerous, the three I've picked anyway, and I will be reading their files and then sharing my thoughts about them. So, without further ado, let's get started. SCP-096. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure SCP-096's presence inside the cell. Any and all photos, video, or recording of SCP-096's likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. and 05- Description: SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, with no sign of any body hair. SCP-096's jaw can open up to 4 times the norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. SCP-096 is usually extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly, via video recording, or even a photograph, it will enter a state of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from this point be referred to as SCP-096-1. Documented speeds have varied from 35 km per hour to km per hour, and seems to depend on distance from SCP-096-1. At this point, no known material or method can impede SCP-096's process. The actual position of SCP-096-1 does not seem to affect SCP-096's response. It seems to have an innate sense of SCP-096-1's location. Note: this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions. See document 096-1. Upon arriving at SCP-096-1's location, SCP-096 will proceed to kill and SCP-096-1. 100% of cases have left no traces of SCP-096-1. SCP-096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction, including breach of Foundation secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of subject should be considered alpha priority. Dr. has also petitioned for immediate termination of SCP-096. See Interview 096-1. Order is awaiting approval. Termination order has been approved. It is now being carried out by Dr. on See Incident 096-1-A. You want to know my opinions on SCP-096? Well, it's my favorite. Easily world-ending with one single mistake. Not that I'd want to. It's very inconvenient for those who cannot crawl out of the underworld after being dismembered, but as much as this thing fascinates me, I hate testing with it. He's given up on attacking me at this point. A termination order has been, given, but We could always try to use him against greater entities. We know that it doesn't work against that damn lizard, but, well, I mean, there could be use for other things. Possibly. Moving on to everyone's favorite peanut. SCP-173. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Description: moved to Site 19 in 1993. Origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to each container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull, or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change in this behavior should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. Oh, so now you want my thoughts. Ugh, this thing stinks. Why I was assigned to a D-class job after a breach because we ran out of sorry fools, I'll never know. It took me weeks to get the stench out of my lab coat. Look away for 1 second and boom, I had to return to the room about 3 times before getting it done. So many pains in the neck that day. Actually, come to think of it, O5 knows I hate that thing. Might have been punishment for the bloodbath on Site 34. And now we get to someone quite adorable, in my opinion. Anyway, SCP-682. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-682 must be destroyed as soon as possible. At this time, no means available to SCP teams are capable of destroying SCP-682, only able to cause massive physical damage. SCP-682 should be contained within a 5 m by 5 m by 5 m chamber with 25 cm reinforced acid-resistant sealed plate lining all surfaces. The containment chamber should be filled with hydrochloric acid until SCP-682 is submerged and incapacitated. Any attempts of SCP-682 to move, speak, or breach containment should be reacted to quickly and with full force as called for by the circumstances. Personnel are forbidden to speak to SCP-682 for fear of provoking a rage state. All unauthorized personnel attempting to communicate to SCP-682 will be restrained and removed by force. Due to its frequent attempts at containment breach, difficulty of containment and incapacitation, and high threat level of Foundation exposure, SCP-682 is to be contained in Site. The Foundation will use the best of its resources to maintain all land within 50 kilometers clear of human development. Description: SCP-682 is a large, vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. It appears to be extremely intelligent and was observed to engage in complex communication with SCP-079 during their limited time of exposure. SCP-682 appears to have a hatred of all life, which has been expressed in several interviews during containment. See Addendum 682-B. SCP-682 has always been observed to have an extremely high strength, speed, reflexes, though exact levels vary with its form. SCP-682's physical body grows and changes very quickly, growing or decreasing in size as it consumes or sheds material. SCP-682 gains energy from anything it ingests, organic or inorganic. Digestion seems to be aided by a set of filtering gills inside of SCP-682's nostrils, which are able to remove usable matter from any liquid solution, enabling it to constantly regenerate from the acid it is contained in. SCP-682's regenerative capabilities and resilience are staggering, and SCP-682 has been seen moving and speaking with its body 87% destroyed or rotted. In case of containment breach, SCP-682 is to be tracked and recaptured by all available mobile task forces, and no teams with fewer than 7 members are cleared to engage it. To date, attempted breaches have been numbered at 17, while successful breaches have been numbered at 6. See Addendum 682-D. What are my thoughts on this lizard? Well, he's adorable. I mean, look at him. He says a lot of shit, though, and my coworkers don't like it. I can't get over that huggable face, though. He's ripped off my arm so many times because I pestered too much. He cussed me out when I proceeded to beat him with my detached limb. Wasn't that funny, I guess. Anyway, that's why I'm not allowed to question him anymore. He personally requested it. Much to my dismay, but it's probably for the better. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my readings and reactions to the SCP's bats. I've been working at the Foundation for maybe like 500 years or so. I would say give or take, I don't remember. Sometimes I think that they would be happy to be rid of me, but I would no idea why. Maybe I'm more trouble than I'm worth? Anyway, have a nice night or day, whatever time it is, and if you like this content and want to see more of it, then please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you!